Okay. Once again, I've fallen victim to this happens literally every time I do a live is when for some reason when my phone goes on battery saver, it just stops whatever I'm doing on social media. Like I'm watching Instagram stories, it just goes back to, 10 minutes ago or something. I don't know if it like clears my cookies or what. But I have a feeling mom is just on a different live video possibly still. I don't know. So, we're mostly done anyway. So let me summarize though. This can be the little, like, if you don't want the whole thing of the other thing, then you can watch this summary. And once again fell victim to my phone going on battery saver and kicking me off the live. Literally, you would think I would learn. I just need to do these more often so I'd remember. But I feel like we're mostly wrapping up, but I will summarize that yes, everything is 50-50 and like you're not going to enjoy all of the experiences in your life. And you've definitely made a bunch of progress that the things that you do that are trying to like numb out and avoid the unpleasant experience of being super bored while you cook. Um, but then, yeah, finding ways that you can take care of yourself and like feel your feelings and allow your feelings, but be kind to yourself and not box yourself into like victimization of like I have to cook and it's the worst because okay, so then you were thinking there's always something I'd rather be doing than cooking, which made you feel irritated, and then like you started down the path of like I should feel grateful that I have food to eat. I should feel grateful that I get to cook. And you just did it. You catastrophize that it wasn't even going to be any good. And then, like, I'm suffering. People have to just suffer with me and eat it anyway. And you did allow the irritation that you're like, I know I'm feeling irritated. I know the thought I'm thinking is there's always something I'd rather be doing than cooking. But you made cooking the worst possible experience for yourself. What's your result? And you could, like, if you hadn't done a bunch of thought work already, right? You would probably just think the irritation came from cooking and not from like, I know I'm thinking that I would rather be doing other things. It's just like cooking is so irritating and boring, right? Um, but really all of the irritation and all of the like catastrophizing and all of the making yourself miserable and victimization was coming from your thought of I would rather be doing other things. And also I think probably your thought of just like I have to cook.
Yeah.
Where like you didn't have to cook. You could order out. You could make dad do it. You could, yeah, just give him the whole like guilt trip of like, you have to serve your family. You're retired now. So you had options, but you followed your own rules and you liked your reasons for following your own rules and you didn't have to do any of it. So yes, the reason why it's so valuable that you were noticing your thought of like I would rather be doing other things is because your thought is the key to not making cooking the worst possible experience ever.
Right.
And it's not that like cooking has to change. You don't have to all of a sudden become a person who's like, this is my creative outlet, or you don't have to cook easier recipes because I think you have found the easiest recipes in the world. But they're still irritating.
Right.
And maybe it's because they're boring. And if you found really complicated, you could try going the other direction.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't matter if your thought stayed like there's something I would always rather be doing, right? Because other people can cook and think like this is so fun, this is gonna be so delicious, and feel really excited and engaged, and like it all comes back to the thought, not the cooking.
Right.
So you said like, do you really want to feel joyful about cooking, or would neutral be fine? Like, what do you think the like best case scenario, like that's not too far away from where you are right now is?
I think if I felt, yeah, I think joyful might be a stretch, but
It might be.
I think, encouraged, at least like,
Okay.
it doesn't have to be the worst, but it doesn't have to be the best. And I think, and the
Mm,
encouragement might not come from, the cooking part of it. It might be
mm,
the other thing I choose to do while I'm cooking it, So like
okay.
there could
Yeah.
be encouragement that comes from, oh, this is the time I get to listen to XYZ, or,
Yeah.
um, while I'm doing this, chopping these vegetables, like, um,
Right.
and I think that it's very amazing that just the thought of like, I don't have to do this, like
Hmm.
taking off the, you know, because that's kind of been my like lifelong, I have to do this. I have rules and I have to do all these things. And I think just taking that off and saying, okay, well, what if I didn't? I don't even have to do this. Like,
Hmm.
so what if I didn't? Because then I know myself would say, well, but I kind of want to have vegetables to eat, And so
Right.
I
Right.
think it's like, I don't know, there's something about taking the pressure off of yourself that makes you
Hmm.
go, but I really kind of want to have this to eat. So I guess I'll eat it and I could find something else fun to do while I'm doing, like there's
Yep.
something
And
about that.
totally magical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like your rules are just all made up.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, you're Enneagram 1, like you want to be good, so you've made up your definition of like eating vegetables makes me good, and like I cooking for my family makes me good, and but that's just all made up. Somebody else
Hmm.
might think that like taking their family to five-star restaurants is what makes them like the best mom ever,
Right.
right? Like
Hmm.
or hiring the best personal chef, or
Hmm.
um just like making the chicken nuggets in the toaster instead of the microwave, right? Like there's so many different levels of like made up rules about what it means to provide good food for your family.
Hmm.
Um, and you get to pick what level you want to be at. You don't
Hmm.
have to be at that level. You just get to decide that that is what you want. Like you were
Hmm.
just saying. Totally
Hmm.
magic. Yes.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Um, so yes, maybe it's like something along the lines of like I get to eat vegetables tomorrow if I cook them today. Like
Hmm.
um or yeah, I get to listen to my like it seems like something instead of like I have to could
Right.
help you to go to like I get to
Right.
whatever part of it.
Right.
And I do think that like allowing the irritation is important.
Hmm.
Um but I think, yeah, as we have said yesterday, you kind of boxed yourself into irritation and didn't give
Hmm.
yourself an out
Right.
of just other possibilities. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. And I think if I saw cooking as like if I could think like cooking is my time to listen to something, or cooking is
Hmm.
a time to, something else, like that,
Yeah.
instead of like cooking is so boring, or cooking is the worst, or cooking is like such a chore or such a drag or
Mhm.
whatever, like to think
Yeah.
of it as like, because really the physical act of putting the food together, like there's nothing like I hate about that. It's just,
Mm,
it's
okay.
mentally so boring. So I think if I thought of it
Yeah.
like, I get to, yes, do this other thing while I cook today. Like, and so the
Mhm.
focus is on the other thing I get to do, not, you know, the cooking or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think it's so interesting that your entertainment that you want to do is learning something and not just like watching a sitcom or like
Yeah.
which
I
is
think,
like fine. But again, like I'm always like my like good learning. Like if I'm like washing the dishes in the afternoon, I'm like, okay, I'm not totally brain dead. I'll like listen to a podcast or like listen to some thought coaching, listen to my
mhm,
class. But if
mhm.
it's like past 8:30, I'm like, no, I am watching TV while I wash the dishes. And I just think it's so funny that that's not even like I'm not even watching a movie or something. Like I'm doing
Yeah.
personal development.
Right. Yeah.
Like once again, you're like following your own rules for yourself of like how you want to live your life, which
Right.
is great. I also just think it's like um a example of like you don't have to learn anything. You could just have fun.
Right.
But
But
I
I
know you think
actually think
learning is
that's
fun.
fun. I mean, to me, it's like
Yeah.
really fun to have something new to think about, or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
Hmm.
like, I find that fun. It's probably really boring to other people, maybe, but I'm like, I think it's really fun to listen, like doing, listening to things and learning things. And, um, yeah, and that's why I married a seven who is
Yes.
he puts the fun things on the TV after 8:30 so that I'm
Right.
watching like something funny that I enjoy, but I just would never turn it on myself. Yeah.
Right. Yes. You just personally develop yourself to yeah.
Right. Yeah, all day long.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, it's not that you have to go straight from like, I hate cooking to I love cooking,
Mhm.
or like, this is so irritating to like, I am joyful and peaceful and such a great homemaker, right? Like, it's just like finding that middle ground of like, okay, but I don't have to do this. I get to do this, and I'm going to take care of myself while
Mhm.
I do it because I
Mhm.
know it's not my favorite thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's really a good, and it's kind of funny because I just told my student, when I was doing tutoring, I just told my student this exact same thing for him about studying. I said, well, he's like, I should study after clinical, but I'm just so tired. I'm like, oh, well, like find a way to like, maybe if you need to study, but find something like that's encouraging to study or the easy part to study or
Hmm.
something that you kind of like to
Yeah.
study. And I was telling him like, find a way to make it fun and find a way,
Yeah.
to enjoy it. And I'm like not taking my own advice about cooking.
There you go. But it's in there. See,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that's very helpful. It's good to just think
Cool.
about, I don't really have to do this. If I choose
Hmm.
to do it, then how to take care of myself
Hmm.
in doing it. And that, like,
Yeah.
that's a,
Without numbing out, like you have learned
Mhm.
not to do,
Yeah,
but just like we're
yeah,
just gonna like find something to make it
yeah.
just not the worst.
And that
Yeah.
can apply to so many things, that you
Hmm.
don't feel
Yeah.
like doing, like to to take the pressure off. Okay, what if I didn't do it? If I just didn't have to do it, I don't have to do it. And then,
Yeah. Hmm.
how to yeah. Yeah, that's
You
great.
have options. Yeah.
There are
Hmm.
options. Yes.
Cool. Well,
Well,
thanks for being coach today.
thank
Sorry
you.
about all this like multiple
That's
lives,
all
but
right.
we'll stitch them all together and
Yeah.
I'll caption them and stuff. And
Okay.
thanks for all the recipes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy cooking.
Yes.
Ironic that
Now
I
you
got
get the
this
thought
from.
work for it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you get to the thought work if you don't like to cook.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Thank
Cool. Have a good
you.
night.